Hey, what's up, traders? Hope everybody had a good day today. Thanks for checking out my watch list review and trade recap for the day. I'm just going to get straight into it. Had a pretty solid day today. Today was one of those days where trying to do the right thing and making the right trade ideas really starts to add up. I've recently taken my P&L off of my trades so I can try to do my best to trade strictly based on the chart. Unfortunately, I'm pretty good at math, so it gets a little bit difficult at times, but overall I do think it's helping where I am currently in my trading. But I've also been wanting to diversify myself. I've kind of gotten a little bit too tunnel vision on Nugget, but that's good and it's bad. However, there are other opportunities out there in the market, and I want to make sure I'm just taking good trades and not only waiting for Nugget to shape up one way or the other. I know I kind of contradict myself a little bit on there because you only want to wait for trades that set up and the ones you feel comfortable with. However, in this early growing phases, I think it's really important that I don't necessarily limit myself to one ticker or another. However, Nugget can be a primary, and I need to make sure I'm always paying attention to it. But like I said, there are a number of other opportunities. With it being said, I executed trades on LABU, SPU, and Nugget. And I'll go ahead and start with Nugget first, my main gainer on the day. I didn't trade the initial plan like I should have. However, I was scalping to the contrary of it, and that was a big lesson that I learned last Wednesday? Yeah, last Wednesday, where I created a plan and tried to trade a bigger picture plan intraday after and against what I was wanting to do before the market. So today I didn't necessarily execute to the short side. My plan was to identify that spot was near the support of 1315 here, as you can see, support resistance line. And I was thinking if we see a wash in top, we could see more downside, more selling as we got it early on. Eventually ended up working back on that level, but early on into the open, I was getting that exact action, so I was looking for the test and see how it reacts. And over here on Nugget, I saw that it was at this 130 support level. And in addition to that, with some gap down on spot, I was looking for it pops off the open for a continued downside. This is one thing I've been struggling with when I haven't gotten any pop out of it. It kind of scares me, if you will, or I don't feel as comfortable because I'm fully expecting a washout, but I'm trying so hard to make sure I have good risk to reward. And ultimately, what I need to start doing is go ahead and taking the starter, just having a wider stop, even if anything, having a smaller position size, and then allowing that way I already have some if the move happens, which just seems to have done this more often than spiking up like I've been wanting to. Other non-ETF tickers, a lot of times you'll see them pop up towards other technical levels, pre-market resistance, but here it's either washed out or had somewhat of a stale opening and shot up if it was a bullish chart on the day. However, finishing my plan, was looking for pops off the open and continue downside, or spot was to regain its leg while near support area. We'll look for weak open, higher lows, and push towards red to green. And this was all if it held in this area, but as you can see, it washed out and that nullified my plan. Now, what I did do, I identified this secondary bear flag. I didn't take any on the short side. I wanted to be conservative because I wasn't seeing as much wash on the 5 minute on spot, but I was like, okay, maybe after this resistance level, we can get some long towards the 120s, the next whole dollar mark. And my trading partner really caught out some really good levels, so I was kind of able to plan my trade around. I did start a little bit too early, but one thing I was proud of that I did on this trade versus some of the other losers where I didn't trade exactly what my plan was and was actually on the opposite side. Here, I wasn't trying to necessarily be the hero. I did think the wash was a little bit extended, and you can see that here if we go to the daily. First, he had that big gap down. This is the day where I took that hit, but started recover, peaked out here at the 139 level, and then an unexpected, at least for me, it was an unexpected gap down below the technical support level, and it was getting a washout. So I did expect some continuation because, like I said, a lot of long traders were caught off guard, if you will, but it didn't. I didn't think that. I thought that was a little bit of an overextension. So we got that wash, and then I started in. And the thing I'm most proud of when I put on an ad or put on a secondary position, if it didn't work or didn't start to pay out, then I went ahead and took it off. I didn't just add it and hold to it, and as a result, I ended up getting some really nice buys into this washout. I had a couple shares at 17.24, and the low of the day was 117.1 based off of one of the support resistance levels we were looking at. So I snagged some underneath it, and then I got some nice sales. I let the trade work. I took off some just to give myself a little bit of breather. I didn't take them all off here. I let it pop up, let it pull back, or actually it was on a 1 minute, so it was all sorry. Come on, here we go. I added in, and then at that point I had my core plus ads. So I was trying to let it go. My average sale I think was 1870, and what made it so low was this candle here. Maybe at that point I should have switched over to the 5 minute, but I was watching. I was looking for this rip right, like this candle. I was looking for it over here once it got into this threshold, but it didn't work like I really expected it to. So I sized down, and like I had the right idea. The bounce was overextended. I mean, there's no way I could have anticipated all of this, but I'm on the right side. And I'm getting there at the pretty much the right time. Sometimes a little bit too early, but I do see positive things coming. So I'll continue to work on my bigger picture ideas and identifying appropriate entry and exit levels. Not trying to trade based off of my P&L, even with it being off the screen. I can still mentally, okay, this is about break even. Let me go ahead and size down and all these things. It's okay to size down off of intuition, but if the trade shapes up again, you need to make sure you go ahead and take that trade again, and not just be okay. Well, I made some money on it. Let me just take it and run, because the money is just a medium for our accounting. Is not the end all be all. You can make money and still have made a bad trade. But LABU and SPU were the last two trades. LABU, where was it? Let's see. Yep. It was over into this wash. No, this one. 10, 20. Where were my sales? Okay, yeah. So I started on a long with 36. I was risking towards 35.80s over under. I did have it previously marked. It's not. This is a different window than I typically use for LABU, so I don't have my loadout on it. But this is good. This was a good test for me, and my idea was starting at 36, then let it test low of days. At the time was 35.90. No, let me go to the 1 minute. It was a little lower than that. Oh no, I guess it was 35.90. Well, I started in 36, just my starter position, and I let it wash. No, it was over here. I'm sorry, guys. I'll get better at this. That's why I said 1020s. Where are we? There we go. There we go. Let it wash over under. I'll get better. uh, Sorry, unplugged the mic there. But let it wash over under, and it moved down against me. I didn't panic or anything, and I let it pop up, but it looked like it was stalling out, so I went ahead and took it off 13.15, and then it went ahead and continued to bounce. And LABU is one of those tickers you got to trade with SPY. It is an ETF, but it does follow what SPY is doing. But I was pretty proud of this because this was my first time oh, well, maybe not first time, but one of the few times where I went ahead and started the idea and I let my stop work out, and I was prepared to sell it off if it didn't continue on, and then when I didn't see the momentum to the upside that I liked, I went ahead and moved on from the trade. So I could still do a better job, but it's the main thing that I want to be focusing on is just taking those swings. Just I see an idea, I need to be taking the idea, and so that's what I was doing. SPU, oh man, this one hurt. I barely missed a run up in early here in this morning, and then I barely missed an ad after this 1750, or excuse me, not an ad, or a restart of a position when the 1750 uh, jumped up because it sold and then it got up to 17.9, closed at 55. I had sales at 52, and then it moved up more, and then I moved them up to like 61 or something. And that's my fault, just trying to get the perfect entry or whatever. It's important that I continue to just keep throwing out the right bid prices because eventually I'm gonna start nailing these things, and I don't want to. Okay, because I got a price that I might not have wanted as much as I thought I did, or I would feel comfortable with, and then miss a whole $2 rip. But it's getting there, and I'm literally 10 to 5 cent away from really just absolutely nailing these things. But what happened here? Going to the 1 minute. Hopefully here I started in to this spike after the wash. Then I let it test over under over under. Had some really good ads into this candle, and at that point I had to define risk. I had 300 shares. My average was 16.8, I think. I'll have to check it later, but basically I had to set define risk, and I would take off some of the ads and go back to a smaller 100 share position because it was just so volatile. But my plan on it, I was looking for really a rip towards the 20 level, and I called out the 20s as in my morning conversation with my trading partner because I felt like shorts would be underwater. I mean, this thing has it's really overextended on daily, but it'll keep going until it's not going to keep going anymore. And after the monster gap up, I was like, okay, all dips are buys for me, and I went ahead and snagged some. I didn't have the best of entries, but this was more of a practice trade. Of course, I wanted to generate some revenue on it, which I ended up doing, a couple bucks. But um, it was about having the right idea. And literally, when this candle went to rip, I was a seller just into it. Like my highest sales, I think I had 1772 because it looked like it was stalling. I was looking at the time of sales at or excuse me, the level two, and there was a pretty big spread on it. So I hit my last sale at 1772. I normally don't take the offer, but I went ahead and punched it, and sure enough, right after I my finger depressed from the left click on the mouse, this thing ripped $1, and I was like, oh my goodness. Sold out the rest of my shares. I had taken some off to be safe at 17.3. Had a really nice 40, 50 cent profit at my first sale of 17.68 or something like that, and then the last 100, it it just, oh man. But it's part of it. As I get more comfortable in the trades, I'll really start to nail them out. I'll be able to trade them bigger size. It's all a part of the process. So just gotta keep taking it one step at a time. You guys can check out the rest of my watch list online on my blog, tradereturn.blogspot.com. Hopefully I'm getting a little bit more efficient with these videos and you guys are able to really learn something. If not, just leave me comments. Let me know how I can do a little bit better for you guys. But thank you for checking it out, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Happy hunting.